So like I said, I took some time out of the Bogard game I've been playing to dip back into Death Stranding after it came out.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to experience it for real.
Experience the magic.
Yeah, that's right.
For the first time.
Just for reference, I left off in Chapter 5 before it came out when they took the server down for a little bit. And still have not gotten out of Chapter 5 because I've become obsessed with trying to get all of the things that make that game playable.
Which they're those
like power skeletons and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like that's the
bridges
example.
and stuff.
Yeah, like every time you level up like preppers, they give you cool stuff.
Yeah.
I think the last thing I need to get
here it's a bucket full of steak tartare. It's freeze dried.
I've had this objective to go move the story along, and I just keep doing deliveries for people because apparently the guy I'm working for right now gives you a cover that goes over your backpack.
Oh, wow.
Stops whatever's on your back from degrading in the rain.
Well,
anyway. Two things. First of all, I'm surprised they did not wipe the progress from the review period.
really?
Basically, like the stuff I was seeing from a bunch of like very recognizably press-related PSN IDs is all still out there.
Yeah,
like, it's
I don't
kind
think
of
there's a
amazing
reason.
to me.
I didn't make this game, but I feel like if I was going to make a game that pulled in player laid ladders and like what that game does, like you wouldn't need to erase it because you're only pulling in a subset of it at any given time.
Right. And I mean, like on the front end, they account for that with the kind of gimmick of like the getting people back on the network.
Right.
There's an in-world explanation for why you initially see no items, and it's that when a zone is not on the chiral network, you can't see any of that stuff, and as soon as you connect them up, it all just populates.
No, I'm sorry. No. You can't tell me that, like, when I update the firmware to get this thing on the network, it makes a ladder appear. Like, no, that doesn't. That's not how that works.
If we're going to nitpick this game's adherence to the rules of reality, then we might as well stop talking about it.
Sounds great.
This is a guy that climbs sheer cliffs, climbs up ropes with just upper body strength with like 200 kilograms of cargo strapped to his back.
Well, he's a repatriate, so
I guess so.
Repatriate.
But I mean, that led to me asking a bunch of questions about like how they act, like the nuance of how they handle that stuff on the back end.
Right.
Like, am I only seeing that stuff
mistake.
because it pulled that stuff into my game originally?
Right.
And maybe new players that bought it after release are not getting any of that pre-release stuff?
That's possible. Like, I would imagine because because of the system of like bridge linking and seeing a player's stuff more frequently, they probably want to guide you into that system at least a little bit. So maybe they bias in favor of like, hey, the stuff we pull in for you the first time, you might see that person's stuff again later on.
Yeah, I think that
might be something like that.
That might be the case. And kind of in a similar vein, I got what I'm pretty sure is the first time I've seen a message pop up that said something I put down was starting to deteriorate. And it was like literally the first climbing gear I ever dropped outside that first city. So I guess that's like a 2-week timer, I'm going to say, roughly.
Oh, interesting.
Before that stuff starts breaking down.
Makes sense.
Which led to me going, oh my God, that thing's been there for 2 weeks. What if I go visit that climbing gear and it's got like 300,000 likes on it?
Wow.
And I got super excited, fast traveled back to Capital Knot City. And climbed up that mountain. And it had like 87 likes on it.
Well,
so that didn't really. But like the very idea that could have happened was like, it's like, wait, maybe this really is a Strand game.
Yeah.
Like maybe the idea that thousands of people may have used my climbing gear made me very excited.
I saw some bridges that had like hundreds.
Oh yeah, no, I've
thousands
seen
of likes
items
and
that
stuff.
were just strategically placed that in such a way that they got all of the social media currency.
Right.
But anyway, the big story I feel like with playing that game now versus when it came out is like, kind of feels like what I imagine it was like to say be a press person reviewing what is the Star Wars theme park stuff at Disneyland called Galaxy's Edge or something like that.
So, oh sure, yeah.
It feels like the contrast between covering that, like however many weeks before it opened, versus like a week after opening, because like playing through it the first time, it was all a bunch of like very tastefully placed ladders, and it was clearly just like I was seeing the remnants of people who were in a very directed way trying to get through the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Like people on a timetable.
Yes. People are going to deploy exactly the bridges and ladders and shelters and everything in this game that they need to ease their way through this game and not a bit more.
Right.
And now, holy shit.
Is there just shit everywhere?
Now it feels like there's just like soda cans and like half-eaten hot dogs everywhere and just like
destroyed cargo just laying around everywhere.
It's not even that. It's like I'm finding like vehicles are everywhere. Like I am finding I've encountered places where there were like 3 different trucks just sitting there right next to each other. All different colors because people are customizing all their stuff.
Yeah.
The pea mushrooms are all over the place. I didn't see like any of that stuff pre-release.
Yeah,
and I've been finding spots where there were like 10 mushrooms grown up around each other.
I played like half an hour of it last night and saw some mushrooms.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my experience, it was just like there was just fucking cargo everywhere.
Yeah,
but a lot of it was destroyed, or it was like, here's someone's boots with no juice left on them.
Yeah.
And
I think
stuff like that.
A lot of that stuff gets collected, like the mules will pick it up and stash it in mailboxes and stuff. But
sure.
yeah, like vehicles, mushrooms, like signs all over the place. Like it's got a feel of just like messy, joyous chaos.
It's just lousy with strands.
Yeah, that it didn't have before. Like it's just the whole game world just feels like this gigantic mess, and it's like kind of fun to see.
So over the weekend, I saw some people. There was I think they talked about it in the quick look they did out in New York, or maybe one of the videos there, or the Beastcast or something. But that there was a line of dialogue in that game that I had heard them talking about.
You're talking about the line?
I'm talking about the line,
the one they were freaking out about.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not going to say it.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
No, I'm not.
I still have to hear.
There are video. Oh, have you heard what it is?
No, I don't know what it is.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there are YouTube videos of it out there now, and people have gotten there, and there's like reaction videos of people going, "I can't fucking believe this is something that is in this video game. What the fuck is wrong with people?"
All of that just makes me want to see it even more.
It's fucking bad.
Okay,
it's fucking bad.
Good or bad, I have to know.
Yeah.
Now I need to know.
Yep.
But it was fascinating to see someone else reacting to that particular scene. Because
okay.
I gotta know.
It was the scene that made me go, maybe I'll just uninstall this.
Yeah,
really.
Maybe I'll just stop because clearly it doesn't have anything to say later on either.
I muted that channel that you guys made to talk about that line.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited to go back and read that whole discussion after.
It's not. It's mostly just
It's
mostly just like people going, really? Really? You're
That's
not that's
right.
really in there? Okay.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Fucking whatever, man.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Dumb.
I think I'm guessing I'm at the point where I could just kind of like plow through the rest of it if I really wanted to.
I would imagine.
Like everybody says that the story really just kind of picks up and goes after
3,
Yeah.
it just starts to cruise. Like none of those chapters are as long.
Yeah.
For sure.
So indeed.
So like, are you just like excited? Are you like chomping at the bit to get back to it, or like what's your
Right up until I just got this other game that I'm covering, which
Uh-huh.
we will have something on later in the week.
Yeah.
Right up until I got into that,
Mhm.
yes, all I wanted to do was go play Death Stranding.
Cool.
But this
It's
other-
been
And
something.
it was really just the side stuff. Like it wasn't even so much. The,
yeah, dude.
the mainline story.
I saw which site? Well, I think it might have been Kotaku that said. I didn't read the story. I just saw the headline go through my feed, but I think it basically just said, like, public service announcement: get to Chapter 3 of Death Stranding as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And I wish I had known that.
Yeah.
Like I almost said that last week. I almost wish, like, I have this problem in open world games. I know, like, I've talked to Vinny about it. He does the same thing a lot. Like, any game like this, the second it even seems like it's going to open up and give you freedom to just tinker around and do whatever, like, I'm going to waste way too much time doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
And I would appreciate even like an optional tip, even if you didn't like really put it in people's face for people that don't want to know. But for people who do, like, I would really appreciate it if they would just be like, hey, all the good stuff is just
right. Like
2 more story beats this way.
if you want to walk around like an idiot for 30 hours right here, you can. But yo, what if you got a truck? Why don't you play a little more? Yeah.
And like to put it in perspective, I'm trying to remember what my hour count. I think by the time I got to the beginning of Chapter 3, I was like well over 20 hours into the game, which is insane in retrospect.
That is, yeah. The time I spent with it is probably like 15-ish hours or whatever, and I'm basically on the last. I think what is the last step of episode 2?
Okay. And Chapter 2 is like the most miserable stretch of that game, and shows you kind of the least amount of the game. But there was so much to do there that I just kept doing it.
Yeah, like I haven't even like I think I got the generator, but I didn't stop off at the spot that had the bike.
Yeah.
When I had to walk all the way back to the first stop.
Right. So like the bike
so
is
I haven't even gotten on a vehicle yet.
Right. So like the bike, getting the bike there is like the very first taste of sort of like the wider world of Death Stranding.
Yeah, yeah.
But most of it is in Chapter 3, and I just I spent an entire weekend in Chapter 2 just like, you know, at least I got a feel for the mechanics and like a pretty intimate understanding of how that game works. But like, you know, a little bit of subtle encouragement sometimes goes a long way.
There are a lot of things that game could do to be.
Well, it's not just
better
that game
than it
though.
is.
It's like
Yeah.
I had the same problem with
sure.
Red Dead last year,
Right.
where like you kind of need to get into chapter 3 of that game before all the mechanics really fully open up.
Yeah.
Like a lot of open world games just kind of like struggle with funneling you to the best parts. Or maybe it's just my compulsion
Right.
to do side stuff constantly.
But like, that's they present you with an endless amount of
Yeah.
side stuff
Yeah.
in that game. So I think that was the
And
when
a slow trickle of experience as well. So it's like,
right, yeah.
I kind of want to.
So you're like, oh well, I should over level here.
Yeah.
Oh, while it's easy, and then go forward. But yeah, that was I think what drove me like the realization was like there's infinite amounts of side shit in this game. Like when I got that delivery to hey, go walk all the way back to the start of the game now. That's why I was just like, fuck it. I'm not taking any additional stuff. I'm not going to stop off along the way. Just point me in the direction to the beginning of the game. I'm going to fucking walk there, bash these idiots in the face while I'm going, march right through their camp because I'm just taking a straight line through here. I don't have time for this shit, and get there and do it. And then now that it's like, okay, this is going to be your longest delivery yet to get out there. Like when I started on that one, I was like, yep, straight fucking line. Not stopping off at the fucking wind farm to see if those assholes have any fucking metal they need to bring west. I don't fucking care.
Oh, the wind farm is the worst.
Just
Have
gonna
to
go.
Have to go up over that mountain and then down, and it's raining, and there's PTs everywhere.
Yeah.
Last thing I just thought of about the game that I have to say, and then we will move on. I went up to the incinerator from the beginning of the game because you get actually, I may be wrong about this. You get an email at one point about like a glowing light or a glowing object in the first city. And then I'd swear I had also seen an email from somebody else about a similar thing up at the incinerator. And I was like, oh, maybe there's something there. Maybe if you go back and explore those areas, like some weird shit happens. So I hiked back up to the incinerator and I forget why I got caught. I think I was just sort of running through the BT area because I was too impatient to deal with it, and I just wanted to get there and see stuff. And I got caught, and I had no weapons on me, so I died on the boss. Because I didn't have anything to fight it with. Anyway, long story short, it creates a crater in the terrain when you die. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
The crater actually like took a chunk out of the incinerator in a really interesting, like it literally like almost Terminator style, like the kind of sphere cutting the surroundings very cleanly. Like the spherical shape of the crater, the explosion had literally like sliced into the building of the incinerator, and they totally accounted for that because you could see all the like the concrete and kind of iron skeleton of the building. Like it looked very nice actually, the way that they like.
You should try to
took a bite out of that building.
Try to
like, that's some attention to
destroy
detail.
the entire incinerator. Just try to strategically die in
like
the
right
right
next
points.
to it. See how much of it it'll eat up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was a neat little thing for them to account for.